The land explored by our ancestors extends from the Altai to the White Sea. The scientific expedition Trails of Nomads continues to unveil the path of our forefathers. A group of scientists led by the pilgrim of the 21st century, Tanykok, has already visited more than 40 countries. Scientists reveal the exciting secrets of the past. Watch an amazing story of a great journey in the Trails of Nomads program. Today's Trails of Nomads episode presents what documentary facts confirm that the ruler Tanykok was a priest at the age of 18? Why did Batir Kultegan kill approximately 200 officials in this country? How did Bilge Khagan rule the state? Mongolian land keeps many secrets about our ancestors. Scientific expedition intends to unveil them and bring them to the native land. In the last episode, we talked about the period from the Sakahun era to the formation of the Gökturks Empire. This time we will talk about the Second Turkic Khaganate and its famous rulers. The Turkic Khaganate, created by the Bogan Khagan in 603, as a result of prolonged interwar wars, was divided into two parts, the western and the eastern part. The western part was located on the territory of present-day Central Asia and Kazakhstan, and eastern occupied all of Mongolia, but not for long, as it was subject to pressure from the Tang Empire. The Chinese in fact ruled the neighboring state with the help of their henchmen, that is, the puppet Khagans. But the Turks resisted, and as a result of a decade-long war, a new state appeared on the historical arena, the Second Turkic Khaganate. Chinese written sources preserved sufficient information about it. Also, there are inscriptions on the tombstone of Tanykok Khagan. This monument is located 60 kilometers from the capital of Mongolia, Ulaanbaatar.
Kültürün eskirtişi, Bilge Khagan eskirtişleri Bakatas'ın üstünde.
Monuments to Kultegan Bilge Khagan were installed on the post, but this monument on earth, that is, it has no basis. Also, in comparison with others, his complex is much smaller. All this suggests that Tanykok did not belong to Khan dynasty. In the period of the Gökturkic Khaganate, monuments on pedestals were already installed for Khans.
Осы ақсүйектерді жаңағы Бақатас үстіне қоятын. Сондықтан бірақ та бұл хан тұқымы емес.
Elteris Kutlo, Bilge Khagan, and military commander Kultegan Kipchak were the rulers of the Second Turkic Khaganate at different times. Tanykok was from the Oghuz tribe, Bayurku, who, incidentally, made their considerable contribution to the formation and development of the Gökturkic state.
Бұның әкесі өте сауатты адам болған, Қытайша жақсы білген.
His father was a very educated man. He knew Chinese. From the age of 12 to 17, he studied in the capital of the Chinese Empire, Xi'an City, at a school where the children of the Chinese nobility studied.
Қытайдың ұлықтарының, элиталарының балалары оқитын мектепте 5 жыл оқыған.
Tanykok is the leader of his time. He was good at drawing maps. He knew military tactics well. At the age of 18, he was sent to Western China as a Turkic consultant and advisor. There he worked for about 3 years. Just at this time, the Turks who inhabited the coast of Archon began a riot. To suppress the rebelling people, the Chinese sent a huge army. Later, Elteris Kutlog Khagan gathered an army and tried to resist the enemy. At that time, Tanykok came to him and addressed him with a mysterious speech, which was imprinted on the monument of Tanykok.
Онда былай айтады. Семіз бұқа, арық бұқа, екеуі жүк көтеретін болса, қайсысы мол көтерер еді дейді. Сонда айтады ана.
Here is what it says. If you load 2 bulls, a well-fed and a lean one, who will raise more? And Kutlog Khagan replied, a fat bull will raise more. Tanykok, with a smile, said, thank you. We will drive out these Chinese and become a free and independent country. You will be a Khan, and I will be your advisor and commander of the army. That is, Tanykok was considered as a fat bull, who had great knowledge, and a thin bull was Kutlog. He did not possess such knowledge. All these words were received with understanding, and they united.
Ондай Танykоктың дәрежесінде білімі жоқ. Соны Құтлық Қаған мойындағаннан кейін разы болып Kutluk Kagan'a көмектеседі.
Thanks to the wise tactics of Tanykok, the army of Göktürks led by Ertuğrul Kutluk breaks the enemy. Thus, in 683, the second Turkic Khaganate appeared. Kutluk became a Khagan, as Tanykok became an advisor and commander-in-chief of the army.
Anataş'ta sonunda былай айтады. Егер Kutluk Kagan болмаса,
The stone of Tanykok has the following words: If there was no Kutluk, there would be no me. There would not be a country of Turks. If there was no Khagan, me, there would not be a country of Turks. If there was no Bilge Khagan, me, then there would be not a country of Turks. That's how Tanykok told that he was an advisor to the three Khagans.
болмаса еді дейді. Бәрінде бірдей кеңесші болғандығын өстіп айтып кеткен.
According to historians, Tanykok died in 741 at the age of 95, and the inscriptions on his headstone were also bequeathed to them by descendants as edification. Now, scientists from Turkey are studying this, and there are still a lot of secrets to solve.
Бүкіл түрк халықтары үшін өте қасиетті бір жар.
The burial place of Tanykok is a place for all Turkic peoples. This is a common ancestor for all Turks. He was a very outstanding scientist, very educated and wise. Here is a monument to Tanykok. It seems to have been done earlier than in 725. In Chinese written sources, the latest information about Tanykok is dated to 725 year.
Monument 725 жылда кездесіледі.
This is a place in central Mongolia, in the Bulgan area called Shibet Ulan. Shibet Ulan means guard height. It housed a large palace complex of the second Turkic Khaganate as well as the Eltres Kutluk Khagan temple. It was built in 693 year. In contrast to other prayer sites, this temple was built as part of the city infrastructure.
Қорған болғанда оба емес, тобасы үлкен кешен.
In general, this is part of the complex erected as a single palace. It is designed to worship God. Everything was built of stone, but gradually the walls collapsed and a hole appeared in the center of the building. The first research work here was begun by scientists from Finland and subsequently continued by the Mongolian historians. However, the most detailed studies were conducted by the well-known Kazakh Turkologist Karjaubay Sarkojoly, who managed to systemize all the historical information received.
Бұл Эльтрис Құтлық Қағанға арналған дүниеді. Не олай дейсіз дегенде,
All this was created for Eltiris Kutluk Khagan. Why did I come to this conclusion? Because the temple dedicated to the Khan was erected on a mountain in the most prominent place, so is the place of his burial. This is such a tradition. There are two large rivers running alongside here, Kunui and Hanui. These rivers merge in this place. Here is the sculpture of Kutluk Khagan, and he has a staff in his hand. This symbol of power was first used by the Göktürks. Tombstone of Eltiris Kutluk Khagan has no head, because it was simply cut off when Buddhism came to Mongolia. But Kazakh scientists managed to find this head. Now, the stone head of Eltiris Kutluk Khagan is kept at the Eurasian National University in Astana. There are a lot of stone women in the Shivet Ulan complex. There are sculptures resembling a tiger's head. Also, there are drawings of a mountain goat on the statues. This, as you know, is a symbol of the Göktürks, more precisely the Kipchaks. Another valuable exhibit is a stone with a tamga, with generic signs of 56 tribes on it. Among them are the Karluks, Kipchaks, Kyrgyz, Khazars, Akshars, and others. When the second Turkic Khaganate was formed, all who were involved in this came here and left imprints on their patrimonial signs. A copy of the Eternal Stone with 56 generic signs from the Shivet Ulan complex was transferred to the Museum of the International Turkic Academy in Astana in 2015. This monument embodies the idea of Mangalik Yel, the eternal nation, which calls the descendants of the great ancestors to unity and harmony.
Türk tayfaları қосылып ант берген. Ант берген уақытында үлкен бір ыдысқа
All the Turkic tribes united and swore. During this ritual, a large bowl was filled with a white drink, kumis or milk, and each member of the tribe slashing his finger, let his blood into this cup. After all this, everyone had to drink this. They vowed not to fight against each other and united to create a great state.
Бәріміз біріміз басымызды қосамыз деген мақсатпен сондай ант берген.
According to the stone letters found in the Mongolian steppe after the death of Eltir's Kutluk Kagan, his younger brother Kapagan rose to the throne, and he continued the policy of his elder brother, listened to the wise speeches of the advisor Tanykok, and with all his might tried to strengthen the state of the Gokturks. He also fought against the Chinese army and won several victories. The Chinese, realizing that it was not easy to confront the Turks, went to a trick. They decided to violate the agreement between the tribes of the Turks, and they did everything to quarrel them.
Kapagan Kagan, Türktің екінші ұлы қағаны, Құтлық қағанның інісі, ның басын, мына Қытайдар жансыздарын жіберіп, 711 жылы.
Kapagan Kagan is the second great Kagan of the Turks, younger brother of Kutluk Kagan. In 711, the Chinese scouts killed the Kagan. Then his son, Inal, ascended to the throne. At that time, there was a great internal strife in the horde of the Turks. Kultigin was one of the leaders of justice at that time. He was one of the most influential people who had a significant power in the choice of the Khan. During the regular election of the ruler, his brother Bilge Kagan told him, "You unified the people and you deserve to be a ruler." Kultigin refused, saying that people would not be calm under his reign and there would be a lot of blood on his saber.
Қатыныштық болмайды. Бұл бірінші. Екінші, менің қылышымнан қан кетпейтін болады.
The words spoken by Kultigin were related to corruption in the country. A fair Batar could not tolerate this, so he punished the guilty without trial and investigation on the spot. He chopped off those who, at the sight of gold, could go on any betrayal. He despised us. About 200 small officials under Kapagan Kagan were also sent by Kultigin to another world. Kultigin once even raised his hand to Tanykok himself, but common sense stopped him. Still, Tanykok was a respected priest of the whole tribe. For this reason, Kultigin, knowing his character, renounced power and transferred the power in the Kaganate to his brother Bilge Kagan.
Бұл кісі 16 жасынан бастап әскер бастаған, 12 жасынан бастап армияда болған.
Kultigin is a man who led the army from the age of 16. From the age of 12, he was already a member of the military detachments. Together with his mentors, commanders including Tanykok and Kapagan Kagans, he participated in the battles. First of all, these are the battles associated with the unification of the Turkic tribes. He's one of those who made a great contribution to the uniting the Turks of Orkhon, Baikal, Sayan, and Altai under the banner of the Gokturkic Kaganate. Kultigin mastered 5 weapons and was always in the center of the battles. Bilge Kagan was more involved in state policy. At that time, friendly relations were established between the Gokturkic Kaganate and China. Trade flourished along the Great Silk Road. The wise counselor Tanykok rendered great support to his brothers and sisters with advice and instructions. In addition, they were brought together by family ties. After all, Bilge Kagan was Tanykok's son-in-law. When Bilge Kagan decided to build cities surrounded by walls, Tanykok opposed, motivated by the fact that the forces of the Gokturks were not yet so powerful as to live in cities. In his opinion, this time was still ahead. In the meantime, in the case of an enemy attack, as a good ally and cover, mountains should be used, Tanykok believed. They were obsessed with the idea of creating a powerful empire, so they were on horseback day and night. To do this, they had everything. Kultigin bought their power, Bilge Kagan knowledge, Tanykok wisdom. They set themselves the goal of building Mangalikyel, the eternal state. After a while, Tongits, Tibetans, Manchurs, Mongols, Siberian Tungus, Shakti, and a number of tribes voluntarily joined the banner of the Gokturks. The idea of Mangalikyel was a kind of motto of the Gokturks, to really become the eternal nation, Mangalikyel. They needed such an ideology. Outstanding personalities like Bilge Kagan, Tanykok, Kultigin adhered to this idea and embodied it. The items and products of the Gokturks which were preserved to this day are kept in the museum of the Institute of Archaeology in Mongolia. Most of them are made of gold and silver. For example, the golden crown of Bilge Kagan and numerous weapons of the Gokturks. Looking at these items, we can say with certainty that the craftsmanship of our ancestors was sufficiently developed.
Бұл біздің заманымыздан бұрынғы екінші, үшінші ғасыр болуы мүмкін. жасалған қанжар. Мен Монғолияда
This is a dagger made around 2-3 centuries BC. I took it from a resident of Mongolia who explained that this weapon was found during excavations of mounds dating back to the period of the Turkic Khaganate. This is a dagger which refers to the Bronze Age. This is a very early period.
қорғандарды қазба жұмыстарын жүргізген уақытында табылған қанжар екен. Өзімнің білуім бойынша бұл қола дәуіріндегі жасалған қанжар. Егер ондай болатын болса, бұл өте ертерекке кетіп қалады.
The original monument to Kultekin is in the Museum of the Institute of Archaeology in Mongolia. It was discovered on the banks of the river Orkhon, 60 kilometers from the ruins of the ancient city of Kara Balasagan. Orda Balak was the capital of the Second Turkic Khaganate.
Kultekin қайтыс болғаннан кейін 10 күннен кейін Қытайдың императорына хабарлайды. Сол кезде ең үлкен дұрыс қатынаста келе жатқан қатынас жаңа жөнделіп қойған империя Қытай болатын.
Chinese emperor was informed about the death of Kultekin 10 days later. At that time, the relations between the two countries were friendly. The Chinese immediately sent 500 construction soldiers, one of the high-ranking viziers, the chief commander, and 6 of the best building masters. On arrival, they discussed with Bilge Khagan where, when, and how the monument will be erected. The inscription on it was prepared by poet Joly. The stone was taken from a cliff near the Orkhon waterfall, the distance to which was more than 100 kilometers. We found this place. The stone from which the monument to Kultekin is made and the stones of this cliff are absolutely identical.
Ол тастың орнын біз таптық, іздеп жүріп, жаңа Kultekin Bilge Khanның тасы мен сол жердегі жартастың рельефі, бет бейнесі, сондағы структурасы бәрі бірдей екенін анықтады.
According to the scientist historian Korjaubi Joly, the monument to Kultekin weighs 16 tons and its base is 30 tons. Such huge stone blocks were transported in winter to a distance of 100 kilometers. How this was done remains a mystery. A huge number of people mourned the death of Kultekin. Special missions came even from neighboring states. This is evidence of his great authority.
Кезінде оны өзенге түсіріп, өзен қатқаннан кейін Орхон өзені 50 сантиметрден 1 метрге дейін қалың қатады екен ол кезде. Содан осының Орхон өзенінің үстіне шығарып, астында жаңағы
In winter, the Orkhon River froze to 1 meter. This was used to transport stones to the destination. This process involved both the Turks and the Chinese. How many stones have been transferred for 100 kilometers is unknown. This titanic work was done to perpetuate the hero's name so that his descendants would learn about the exploits of a glorious ancestor.
Кейінгі ұрпаққа сөз қалдыру, сол кездегі ұлы қағанаттың ұлылығын көрсету үшін сол кездегі біздің бабаларымыз қаншалық еңбек еткен осыдан ғана байқауға болады.
Thanks to the monument to Kultekin and the inscriptions on it, which were deciphered and read, a science such as Turkology appeared. For example, it is wrong to call the Kok Turks Ashin. This, as it turned out, is an elementary error of translations. Ashina in translation from Sogdian means blue tangray.
Сол уақытта ең ірі империя
At that time, the most powerful state was the Chinese Empire. However, they paid the tax to the Second Turkic Khaganate. Therefore, I must say that the state left a big mark in history. Kultekin died in 731, Bilge in 734, and Tanykok in 741. Bilge Khagan was poisoned. In his honor, a monument was erected on the bank of the river Orkhon. The tombstone has inscriptions which describes the entire history. After these rulers, the state began to lose its power. From 744 to 745, under the onslaught of Orkhon Uyghurs and Karluks, the Second Turkic Khaganate fell. It was replaced by the United Turkic Khaganate. In historical sources, it is called Uyghur Khaganate. We will continue the journey in Mongolia in our next episode. Members of the scientific expedition will tell how was the Third Turkic Khaganate formed. Why was it called Uyghur, and what does the state have in common with the modern Uyghurs? How true is the fact that Genghis Khan, creating his empire, completely copied the state control system of the Gokturks? The answers to all these questions we will learn in the next episode.